In this video, I'm taking a look at the Bose QC25 noise cancellation headphones. And Bose is not necessarily known for making audiophile headphones. And, I would have to say that the audio quality of these certainly is not audiophile. However, what these do, they do really well, and that is noise cancellation. Forget Beats, forget Logitech. Listening to these are really a lot better experience because the noise cancellation is completely silent. There's no hissing or anything added to your music at all. And these just sound better in my opinion as well. But also these have a pretty good sound quality too. They're definitely improved over prior versions of the Bose noise cancellation headphones. So they're certainly very listenable. And part of hearing your music or listening to your music is just that, being able to hear it well. You could have $1,000 headphones, but if you're on a plane or train and you can hardly hear them over the background noise, what's the point? These will noise cancel out all of that background noise, or at least the majority of it, so that you can actually sort of shut out the world and listen and actually listen to your music, or listen to your spoken word podcast or a movie, or even if you don't play any music and you just activate the noise cancellation, just to be able to sleep or relax and not have to hear the annoying background noise is really a plus. So here's the case that it comes with. It's a nice sort of hard case, and as I open this up you can kind of see the diagram of how the headphones go into the case. So you can see they do fold up nicely and into a nice compact case. They also give you an airline adapter here to plug into airplanes. Also the AAA battery fits right in here too. So it takes one AAA battery, and then you can keep a spare in here too very nicely. And then the back of the case has a nice sort of sleeve here, or pocket. You can put your boarding pass or different papers or whatever. So it's definitely a nice case, good quality hard case. And I believe you can also buy this case in another color as well, I think white, if you want. Looking at the headphones here, they do have sort of a plasticky build quality. However, in some ways that's good because it makes them quite light. And because of that, they're very comfortable to wear. I feel like I can wear these for like 3 hours straight. On the top headband is sort of a really nice plush padded fabric. It almost feels like Alcantara or something like that. The top headband is a little bit thin. I feel like this could be a little bit thicker. But on the other hand, it's very comfortable and they don't fall off of your head or anything while you're wearing them. And as I kind of fold this out, you can kind of see inside each ear is the right and the left. So you can kind of tell very easily at a glance, which is the right one and which is the left. On the right ear cup is where you put the battery in. So this is the battery compartment. And then also here is the switch. This actually turns it on and off. So when it's green, it's on and noise canceling. Note that these work with it off as well. They will play music with it off, although it doesn't sound nearly as good. So I don't recommend using them in that way unless you're forced to or your battery runs out, because they sound much better with the switch on. The cable is a nice quality cable, and it also has a microphone as well as the start and stop button as well as volume here, and it works quite well out of an iPhone or iPad or iPod. It sounds pretty good directly out of those devices, and this will actually control those devices as well, so that works pretty well. The cable is a detachable cable. However, it is a proprietary cable, so you can't really get third-party cables for this, even though it looks like it. It looks like a 2.5 millimeter cable or something like a plug or something like that, but it is proprietary, so you do pretty much have to use the cable they give you. On this end is the 90-degree right angle connector, which would go into your device, which works pretty well. All in all, I have to say, a pretty good build quality, although it does feel a little bit cheaper than its price point. The price point on these is $299. However, you're also paying for some of the microprocessing technology of the noise cancellation that Bose, incorporates with these headphones as well. So you're not just paying for the build quality alone. You're paying for that sort of noise canceling technology, which really is tops among noise canceling headphones. I've been on flights before where I did not have noise canceling headphones, and I just really felt very grating on my ears because I had to turn up the volume quite high on my device just to be able to hear the sound. And then when I landed, I felt totally drained because I just heard all that background noise of the plane, but then I also had to play my music loud, to sort of overcome that background noise, and so my ears hurt and stuff like that, and I just felt more drained. Whereas with these, you can play at a very listenable level. You don't have to blast it or anything like that because it really does cancel out all that background noise. And in fact, even if you don't want to play music or anything, you can just play nothing and just use these, and it will block out all of, or it'll cancel out all of that, droning of the airplane motor. And you'll find that you'll arrive to your destination much more relaxed, and you'll just feel a lot better when you arrive to your destination. In terms of how these sound overall, they're actually quite neutral headphones, and in some ways provide a pretty accurate representation of your music. For my liking, they're a little bit lacking on the bass. I would like a little bit more bass. However, if you're using, say, a headphone amplifier that has, a bass boost, that'll certainly get you probably to where you want to go if you listen to, a lot of hip-hop or something like that. So that'll sound perfectly good, I think. In terms of the mids are very smooth and, quite present. The highs are slightly shrill. I wouldn't say harsh, but maybe just slightly shrill. And I think that's due to the fact that, the resolution on these headphones just isn't quite as good as, audiophile headphones that I'm used to. So the highs seem a little bit less, defined maybe in a way. That's a good way, I think, to describe the overall sound, actually. It's probably just, each instrument is not quite as defined as you might find in headphones, maybe costing, double as much as these. But that said, I can listen to these for quite a long time, and I can enjoy my music pretty well with them. So I don't have a problem listening to these and enjoying my music with these at all. And I have no problem recommending these based on sound quality either, with the switch on, with the noise cancellation switch on. Again, with the noise cancellation switch off, they sound much, much worse, and they sort of start sounding really muddy and things like that. But I think for everyday usage, these are perfectly fine headphones. If I had to commute every day to work or something like that, I'd have no problem using these whatsoever. And I will certainly use these on trips and around the house. Also to watch movies, it's pretty good. And all in all, I think they're quite fun to listen to. They're certainly not necessarily the best headphones I've ever heard in terms of the musical quality. However, they are the best I've heard in terms of noise cancellation and, and isolation. And I've certainly heard worse. So I have to say, all in all, I'm really quite happy with these Bose QC25s. In fact, I'm more happy with them than I thought I would be. Part of good high-quality music is a very good signal-to-noise ratio and a low noise floor. And this gives you both of those, so it enables you to really hear and enjoy your music better than you thought you might be able to in a noisy environment. So I think these are really a must-have if you travel, or even if you frequently find that you're in an environment where you wish you could block out some of the noise. Even if you're just in a cafe or something and people next to you are just talking too loudly and you can't hear your music, or you can't concentrate on what you're looking at or reading, these can help a lot for that. Or let's say you're in a hotel room and there's a lot of traffic noise, or the people next to you are being too loud and you can't sleep. These will help for that quite a bit. So while they're a little bit expensive, I find that these headphones are definitely worth the money for all of the reasons that I've outlined in this video. So this has been my look of the Bose QC25 noise cancelling headphones. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. See you in my next video.